Mike Zweifel here today on WEKZ AM 1260 and FM 95.5 for To The Point. Please be joined here at this time. We're talking Greene County leaders and learning about this month's and actually this week's session. Get to know a little bit what the future leaders of Greene County are up to. Joining us here, Corey Kunert joining us here. Greene County leader class here of this 2022-2023 sessions. And Corey, thanks for coming in. How's everything going here so far overall, Greene County leaders, and your kind of your expectations and kind of what you're seeing so far?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike. Greene County Leaders has been an incredible program for me. I grew up in Greene County. I'm a Monroe native and always wanted to give back to the community that I've lived in. So being in Greene County Leaders is a great opportunity for me to expand my leadership skills, learn more about the county, and provide an opportunity for me to give back. So it's been a great experience.
All right, we're going to get into everything you guys have been doing, especially on Wednesday when you guys got together. But your story is going to be a little bit more unique than maybe most of them that are going to be coming in here and filtering out, talking about the sessions this season. But you're from Monroe, graduated from Monroe High School. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Okay. And you're born and raised Greene County leaders. This is something that you actually pursued to your organization, your business that you work with.
Yeah, I work at Credit Union National Association out of Madison. We have an office in Washington, D.C. as well. I've been there 8 months, so I'm a newer employee. I went to my leader and said, hey, there's this program based out of Greene County I'd love to be a part of. I know a lot of people that have been through the program and had a lot of benefit from it. So something I've had on my radar for a very long time. And being a new employee, I wasn't sure if they were going to say, yeah, let's do it or not, but I went to them and they said, yeah, that's great. All the leadership skills that I'll be learning throughout this program are very beneficial. I can bring those back to my employer. So really excited that they said yes to this.
And even more so impressive, they said yes because you guys don't necessarily, do you guys technically have a tie to Greene County? You said you had an office in D.C. and Madison.
We don't, but we service credit unions throughout the country, and there's some credit unions in Greene County that we service. So Credit Union National Association, CUNA, we're an association group that works on behalf of credit unions. So we have advocates down in Washington, D.C. who meet with senators and congressmen to really drive that credit union movement forward. So there is some tie to D.C. or to Greene County, but not direct.
All right, fantastic. And about this, even a little radio-ish type of background. You got your own podcast. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, so I started a podcast last August called Wisco Legacy. What I do on there is I talk to inspiring Wisconsinites. I've had a lot of people from Greene County on the podcast. Patrick Bodell from Synchronous Communications, the Ellefsons from Jacob Swag Foundation. I've had a ton of people from Greene County on the podcast. It's been really great connecting with those folks and hearing their stories. So what I do is kind of have an informal conversation like we're having here and just hear about their journey and hear about what they have done and what they've accomplished in their life. And it's really exciting. There's one question that I ask at the end. I ask everybody. It ties back into the name Wisco Legacy. It's when all is said and done, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? And so it's a pretty big question. It gets people to think a little bit more than just asking them about their upbringing. But it's been really powerful to have those conversations.
All right. So where does that background come from? Because it ties right into Greene County leaders here, Corey.
Yeah, I've always wanted to have a podcast. I used to work in the learning and development space. I used to do some voiceover work in that. So I kind of knew the technical side of things, but I've always been drawn to storytelling. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with that, have those conversations with people, make those connections. Part of it actually resonated from the pandemic. I was working at home, sitting in my office at home, not connecting with a lot of people, just kind of work people and all that. So having that outlet to interact with more people and have that creative outlet outside of work was very beneficial for me.
All right. Well, fantastic. Great to hear your story. And you mentioned you like storytelling radio. That's exactly what we're doing here today. We're in the chapter of Corey Kunert in the October session for Greene County leaders. Tell us a bit about this session Wednesday. Where did you guys meet up at and where did you guys kind of settle in here for this session?
So we were over in Albany at the Lions Club there. Really great facility, phenomenal food provided by the Albany Lions Club. And we had a really great session. Our topic this week was deliberative dialogue.
Okay, go into that a little bit. What'd you guys do? What kind of exercises did you guys work on?
Yeah, so we started out, being that it's November, Thanksgiving is coming up. We talked about gratitude. So we all got little post-it notes, wrote out some things that we're grateful for. And for me, it was healthy family, my career, being able with a lot of people, a lot of companies downsizing. Feel very fortunate in where I'm at in my career right now. Coffee was on there too for a few people, being that we were over in Albany at 8 o'clock in the morning. But that's kind of how we started the day.
All right, fantastic. What was one of your bigger takeaways of the day then? Talking with gratitude, talking with the dialogue, working with your group on your project. We'll get into it a little bit later on. What was a big takeaway for you from the session here this week?
I had a lot of takeaways. One thing that was really cool is Albany partners with their community, and the school district actually has a maple syrup project that they do. So they go around to talk to residents in the city, and they tap the maple trees. They get all the sap out. They make syrup. They sell it back to the community. It's a really great thing that they're doing in Albany. The students, there was a couple students that came and talked to our session and did a phenomenal job talking through that. It was really neat experience to hear that.
So you guys got an opportunity then to kind of see what's going on in the school, because obviously you're from Monroe. You kind of you got to have an idea what's going on at Monroe with your experience. Some of the teachers obviously are probably still there when you were in school, but so you got to kind of feel what other districts are doing in a smaller district too in Albany.
Yeah, and we at the end of the day we got to go around Albany and do a first impressions. And driving by the school is really nice. It's a pretty big school for their community. There's a lot of great opportunities in Albany. There's the library is great. They got a couple ballparks there. Great riverfront with a dam. There's a lot of really great opportunities in Albany. So it was great to experience that, kind of go around and think about it in a different perspective. And
I think you missed Albany at its peak with the colors by about a week or two with all the wind and the rain we've had as of late. So you missed almost the majestic time of the year with the colors and that. Being from Monroe, you know Greene County a little bit. You got your perceptions. Did you know much about Albany? Was there a lot of surprising elements to your kind of getting to know Albany experience?
Yeah, I knew some. I actually used to work at the Greene County Highway Department a couple summers, and then I was general superintendent for a little while out there. And so we had done some work out there, so I was experienced with the layout, but I've never actually walked through, driven through, and thought about Albany in this perspective. Where are there opportunities to improve maybe the downtown district? Where are there big benefits of the community, like some of the public space that they have there? So it was a really great opportunity for that.
Corey Kuhnert with us here today. He's in the Greene County Leaders. You seem to be a guy that you take mental notes. I'm guessing you take mental notes. You know kind of how things are operated. Articulate is a good word that I think would describe you just based on our conversation today, Corey. Based on how you obviously know and taking things from Monroe, how does that differ from a big city, Monroe, relatively speaking, in Greene County terms, to Albany? Things are operated. I mean, does it surprise you on how a small community like Albany is and how they're able to operate and function and resourcefulness in terms of using the community and the school district kind of coming together as opposed to a Monroe?
Yeah, I know in Albany there's a lot of volunteers that do a lot of work. There's festivals there where everybody comes together. So what I really like about small towns is people that are from small towns tend to have pride for being there. And you can definitely see that in Albany. You see signs of Albany Comets basketball and things like that around the area. So it's really cool to see that. As far as resources go, they definitely kind of lean into that volunteer with their EMS and things like that. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic looking at the city of Monroe, all the resources we have here, and then a smaller town like Albany. There's a lot less resources, but they're doing a lot with what they have.
You don't think of Monroe as being this huge city, metropolitan area, but in relative terms, come to an Albany or a Monticello, it's night and day. But then you factor in a Monroe to a Madison, it's even more night and day. So it's interesting to see how different sized communities can kind of make things work. Let's go in a little bit here in terms of into your project a little bit here. Corey, I've had a number of folks from Greene County Leaders come aboard, talk about their projects, and it's because of the size of the group, some 30 members in this year's class going through Greene County Leaders. You guys have a bunch of different, maybe I don't want to say smaller projects, but different projects you're working on. What group are you involved with? What project are you guys working on?
Yeah, so there's 7 of us that are working on youth sports. We initially started looking at the access to youth sports. We know that sports equipment is, your parents tend to buy equipment, their kids grow out of it very quickly, or their kids maybe leave that sport. What are they going to do with that equipment? So we're planning at some point in time to host a sports equipment swap meet. Still working out details around what that will look like, but we want to provide an avenue for people to come and get rid of that equipment that tends to sit in the basement. We're also looking at the participation of sports in Greene County and really hoping to kind of bridge the gap of the communities we have in Greene County and provide some resources to them to have and utilize through providing easier access to sign up and information and things like that. So more to come on that, but there's a lot of really fun stuff. Sports have a way of impacting people. I was a 3-sport athlete growing up, and I didn't pursue it after college, but I look back on my days in sports and all the life lessons I learned through sports, I still utilize in my day-to-day. So being able to have an opportunity to at least make a small impact on that is really exciting for us.
And something that I think it's lost in it, the youth sports, it's not always about being the kid that gets all the touchdowns or gets all the points in basketball or is the starting pitcher in baseball. It's not even about the opportunity to go to college and play at the University of Wisconsin type of thing. It's about being around your friends, just getting involved in something and something to look forward to. There's a lot of kids out there that unfortunately after school, they don't know what they're going to be doing. They don't know where they're going to go. And youth sports can be an opportunity for them to kind of be part of something and have that void that they currently have that's filled by being part of football, being a part of basketball or baseball.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for kids to have that involvement, to have that community around them, for friends they can go to. Some of my best friends are people I were teammates with in high school and even in my younger days. So it's so important. You know, I think about I had a lot of injuries when I was in sports, so I faced a lot of adversity trying to go through that. And you know, when you grow up, you tend to face adversity in a lot of different ways. And so through this project, we're hoping to have some resources and education and just provide more opportunities for kids to get involved.
You mentioned there's 7 of you working on this project. What's kind of been surprising for you as you guys have been going through this, trying to start, like you said, potentially a swap meet of equipment? What are some of the things going through this process that stand out to you? Like, hey, I didn't think about this, or I didn't know we'd have to do something like this to make this work.
Yeah, so a few things stick out to me. One are the scholarship opportunities out there for kids. I didn't realize that the Greene County YMCA and some of the park and recs in the area provide scholarships for people who can't afford to pay those fees to register. There are scholarships out there that are available. And then access to information. Doing a lot of research and trying to figure out what sports are in each town, how people register and things like that. There's not a lot of information out there. So it's been interesting having that lens. But as far as our project team goes, we've been really good coming together. We got a lot of great personalities, a lot of great ideas. And so it's been awesome working with this group of people to try and get this up and going.
All right. I know we're here, and it's hard to believe it's November. It's going to be Thanksgiving here before long, Corey. But what's been your favorite part here so far about Greene County Leaders here overall? Not just here this month, but just overall. What's kind of your favorite aspect of it?
For me, it's the connection with our cohort. There's a lot of really great people that I didn't know before, so making a lot of great connections, meaningful connections. But the education that's provided by Greene County Leaders has been phenomenal. We've had speakers come back a few different times who provide really great education. There's a lot of real life scenarios we've been able to utilize. So I've been able to take a lot of what I've learned and put it back into my day job. I work in change management. That's my career. And this week we talked about asking powerful questions. That was one of the big topics. And in my role, I'm a little more of a strategist in a way. And so one of the things that I do is I have conversations, and I'm the guy that tries to think about how this is going to affect people and their change. And so I have to ask open-ended questions to get people to kind of think in different ways. And sometimes, leading conversations, asking leading questions to get to certain places. So this week, learning about asking powerful questions a bit further really was directly in line with what I do.
All right. Well, I don't know if any of these questions are necessarily powerful here today for you, Corey, but hey, thanks so much for coming aboard here. Best of luck with your career, obviously, there at CUNA. The podcast as well. Keep that going. I'm going to have to check that out here myself. And well, best of luck the rest of the way with Greene County Leaders.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
All right. Corey Kunert, our guest here today about Greene County Leaders, their November session. And he's been our guest here today at WEKZ for To The Point.